What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the PMDG 737 from LaGuardia, New York to Toronto International Airport. I haven't done anything in the plane other than load the game up, and that's it. We'll basically just hop inside the plane and we'll start our pre-flight checklist, pre-flight checklist. It is like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning or so. So this will be a morning flight. First thing we need to do is go down here and make sure our parking brake is set. We'll go to our overhead panel and we'll make sure our battery lights or battery is switched on. And we will go electric hydraulic pumps will come on and we'll connect to our ground power. There we go. We're now on ground power. Our landing gear lever is down. Our APU fire warning we will test. Everything's functioning there. Our position lights are on, I believe, yes, and our wing lights can come on as well. Our engine bleed switches are on. Our IRSs can be set to nav 1, 2, and 1, 2. Our yaw damper can come on, but it's going to flick itself off like it always does. Emergency lights can be armed. Flick that down. We'll get our seatbelt lights and our no smoking sign turned on. Our flap lever is up. Our speed brake lever is down. Our galley switch is on. Our window heats can come on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Our probe heats can stay off. And that's all we need to do on the overhead for now. We will hop down here, and the first thing we need to do here is I need to pull up our flight or our on SimBrief. I need to pull up the flight and take a look at my flights. Here we go, and we'll load this one. Let's see. Yep, that looks right. All right. We need to take a look at our fuel, so we'll go to FS actions. We'll go to fuel, and as soon as my flight generates here, which it just did, we will take a look. Our block fuel is going to be 14051. So 14051. We'll put that in there. That's all the fuel that we're going to need for today. Now that we did that, we can return back to our main menu, go to FMC, and get our position initialized here. So we are at KLGA. We'll put that in as our reference airport. We'll go to the second page. We'll grab our GPS left, go back, and we'll input those coordinates here. We'll head over to our route. We're going to start KLGA to CZZY. We'll put that in there. We're flying United today, so we'll do United Airlines 215 is going to be our flight number, and we will head over to the next page. All right, our waypoints, pretty simple. We're going to be taking off of runway 13. We're going to go direct to Gale. We're going to fly this jetway to this waypoint, jetway, waypoint, jetway. Is this right? Yeah, okay. So we have a little bit of information to put in here, not too much, but we'll get going on that. So first waypoint is going to be Gale, G-A-Y-E-L, G-A-Y-E-L. So we're going to fly to Gale. Then we're going to fly Q818 to MSLIN, MSLIN. There we go. And then from there, we're going to fly Q818 again to Stomp, S-T-O-M-P. And we'll do, where's Q? Q818. We'll put that there. To Buffy, B-U-F-F-Y. B-U-F-F-Y. This is also going to be Q818 jetway. And then from there, we'll be going to CFB. CFB. Again on... we want this one. Q818. Go to next page. That was Buffy, right? Or CFB, okay. And then we are going view, V-I-E-E-W. V-I-E-E-W. Again, it's going to be Q818. To Keely, K-E-L-I-E. K-E-L-I-E. To Q818. and then to Woozy, WOZEE, and that is also going to be Q818, and that's oh, we wanted that there. Can we clear that? How do we clear that? Oh, delete this and go Q818. There we go. All right, so now we have to go to our departure and our arrival, which our departure is pretty simple. It's just going to be runway 13, and we're going to fly direct, so we're not doing any SIDS or anything. So we'll head back to arrival and departure. Arrival is going to be runway 24 left via the Ling 3. So let's find Ling 3. We'll go Ling 4, runway 24 left. 24B. What is 24B? Oh, here. Oh, no. That's, I guess it would be that one, right? Yeah, from Woozy. There we go. And ILS 24 left. We're not doing a transition there. So I think that's going to be our flight plan. I might have to double check some of that because I'm not really sure what those arrivals were. So let's get rid of you. Let's go to legs and let's step through this real quick and see if it looks right. And then we'll get a vector from there, which we're just going to clear out and go direct. So we'll execute that. And then right to the runway. Yeah, that looks fine. Let me look at the... So direct to Gale. Okay, yeah, that looks fine. So we'll jump back down. Well, let's set this back to map mode. We'll jump back down here. We'll put a little bit more information in. We're going to go init ref. Our cruise altitude today is going to be flight level 380. So FL 380. We'll go ahead and put that in there. At flight level 380, our winds. Let's find our winds. Are going to be 232.041. So 232/041 is going to be our cruise winds. Our zero fuel weight today is 117.5. 117.5. We'll drop that in there. We have 2,000 in reserves. Our cost index is going to be 3.5. Execute that. We'll head over here. We'll go to page... Oh, we can't go to page 2 yet. Hold on. We'll go takeoff configuration 1. We'll go to takeoff. We'll go to page 2, and we'll get our runway wind in here. So let's take a look at our MEDAR for LaGuardia. 180 at 5 knots. So 180 at 005. We'll throw that in there, which we can now go back here. We're going to go flaps 5. Just going to set our trim to 5.7 and our V speeds. And there we are. That is all of our takeoff information. So our altimeter here today is 3006. So while we're right here, we can set that real quick. So that's going to be 3006. There we are. And we need a little bit more information over here. 24 left is our approach runway. So let's pull up 24 left. Here we are. All right. Our localizer is going to be 111.95. Our final approach course is going to be 347. Our airport altitude elevation is going to be 569. And 747 will be our barometer for our approach. So we need to tell the plane all of this information. So we'll start with the first thing, which is the approach course, which is 237. We'll set this to 237. 237, okay. Our approach altitude is going to be up here. It's going to be 569, so we can set this to 550. There we go. And our cruise altitude is going to be 38,000, so we'll set that as well. There we are. Got both of those set. And our ILS frequency is going to be 11195. So we'll switch this over. We'll go 11195. 111, whoop, 11195. We'll switch that. Switch this one. 11195. Okay, we have all of that information in, and then we need our approach barometer is going to be 747, which will be down here. You'll see it as soon as I spin this knob up here. There it is. So we're looking for 747. Can I hold shift and make this quicker? Yes. $747. There we go. That looks good to me. Let's see if... Okay, yeah, we're good. Just making sure our chart knew where we were, because last time I tried to make a video, this wasn't working, the actual live location. So I don't know what the deal was with that, but it's working now. Everything looks good now. All right, I think that's pretty much good. I don't think we need to input anything else. We could put this up to 38,000. Since we're not flying ATC or VATSIM, we're going to go right up to 38,000. That looks good. We'll set this to 250. All right, so our before start checklist, our FMC is programmed. We need to get our 2 flight directors on, and our auto throttle on. Our Mach indicator is set, our heading selector is set, our altitude set, our autopilot disengage bar is up, our thrust levers are idle, our stabilizer trim needs to come down a little bit, but there we go. Our auto brakes can be set to RTO. Our APU can start, so we'll jump up here, we'll flick our APU to start. Our APU bleed switch can get clicked on. Our APU generator switches can be turned on, and our transponder can be set to standby. We'll turn our APU generators on here in a minute, but we'll get our transponder set to standby. All right, so right now we're just waiting for our APU to come up, and then we'll cut the stairs loose, we'll cut the chocks loose, and we'll just about be ready for pushback. Pretty easy start. This plane's very easy to fly. Well, as you learn it, it becomes easier to fly. So we're waiting for our APU generator light right here to turn on, and we're waiting for our APU to stabilize. I forget where it is, around 4,000, I think. But once that's stabilized, then we can go on our, there we go, and go on our APU generator. So APU generator on. So we're now on our APU. With that being said, we can come down here and click this master caution off. We can go to menu, FS actions, ground services. We'll release our ground power, and we will remove our wheel chocks. That'll get rid of our staircase and close our door and get all of that stuff moving. Before pushback checks, we'll head up over our top panel here. We're going to go fuel pump switches on. We're not using our center tanks today, so we don't need to turn them on. APU generator switches are already on. We're on APU generator. Seatbelt signs are on. Flight deck doors and windows are locked. Ground equipment is disconnected. Anti-collision lights can come on. All right. That is before pushback. It looks like we are good for pushback. So let me just take a look after start. Yep. So let's take a look at the chart here and figure out where we need to go. So runway 13, we're gonna go taxi. We don't want that one or that one. There we go. And that's where we are. So we're looking for runway 13, which is up here. So we're gonna back out. We'll go to the right and we'll try and jump on Bravo. Or I guess we'll jump on Alpha to Lima and then Bravo, and take Bravo all the way down to Papa, continue straight, and take that to runway 13. That's the plan. That's what I'm going to try and do here. Let me move this back over here. What are we waiting on here? I think we're good. We're on APU and everything, so we can call for our pushback. Look at our pushback heading over. We're going to jump over to the overhead panel here. We're going to go, we'll go right or left engine today, and in just a moment, as soon as we start pushing back, we will fire up that engine. We'll set up our wing view. Beautiful sunrise. out that window there. Everything looks really good here. All right, wing view is set. As soon as it connects, we will start our engine. We'll set this to engine. That way we can monitor our N2s and make sure we get our engines fired up at the right time or introduce the fuel. I should be able to click this. There we go. All right, so we'll go left engine first. We'll set it to ground. And you can see it's coming up. Our N2 is starting to spool up. As soon as we hit 1820, we'll go ahead and feed it some fuel. There it is. Feed it the fuel. Continue pushing back here. Looks beautiful out here, man. This is going to be a very nice departure, I think. I've never flown out of this airport, but I am excited to. I am very excited to fly out of this airport. It looks like a very nice airport. We'll keep pushing back just a little bit more. As soon as I cut off the pushback, for some reason, it's going to jump forward a little bit, but I have to hit my brakes real quick. So about right there, we'll stop the pushback. There it goes, pushing forward, hit the brakes. I don't know why it does that. There is a PMDG pushback option, but I haven't figured out how to use it yet. We'll go ground on the second engine. We're going to look for N2 to come up. And there it is at 18. We'll give it fuel. And we'll wait for that engine to come up. In the meantime, we'll set our yaw damper because I always forget to set that. Yaw damper can go on. And our flaps can be set to 5, which is over here. I have that set to a button. So 1, 2, 3. And we are set. You might be able to see the flaps. Yep, you can see them extending there. Very nice. Let's see, are we set? Our engine is set. Okay, so our engine generator switches 1 and 2 can come on. So 1 and 2, we're now on the engine generators. Our APU bleed switch can be turned off. Our APU can come off. Our probe heat switches 1 and 2 can come on. Our master caution system recalled. Everything looks good. Our engine wing anti-ice, we don't need that. Our pack switches can be set to auto. Isolation valve switch can be set to auto. Let's get a little panel lighting here. And our taxi clearance, good. And our transponder, which again, we're not flying with ATC, but we'll set it on just for realism. All right, we are all set for our taxi. So our parking brake in just a minute can come off, but we're gonna go to overhead panel. We're gonna go taxi lights on. Runway turn off lights can come on. Flaps are set, flight controls and parking brake can come off. So we'll move this up, left, right, forward, back, and yep, our pedals are working. We released our parking brake there, so we're gonna give it some throttle, some thrust, and we're gonna try and push this over to the right here. Our in-flight time is looking about an hour and 4 minutes. Now, likely you're gonna see a time lapse, so it's not gonna be that long. I will do the departure, a little bit of the climb, and then I'm gonna throw it into a time lapse and pick back up around the descent. So we're going to be following this up here. We're going to make our first left. It looks like we might be able to just, yeah, we could just jump right on. We're going to jump right on Bravo, which is this line here to the left. Give it a little throttle, get her moving. And we're gonna make a hard left because we don't want to cross that runway or get on that runway. So here we go. So this is where we're gonna follow all the way down to runway 13. Weather's looking a little bit hazy out there. I think there is some fog going on. There's a wing view, a little stutter there. There's a nice wing view. There's the airport off to our left here. We're gonna follow this all the way down. If you could take a look here, you can see we're right here. We're gonna follow it all the way down to this runway here. Try not to drift off this line too far. Probably come over a little bit too. There we go. All right, if you guys are enjoying this, be sure to hit that like button. If there's anywhere you want me to fly, let me know. I will try and put timestamps in this video so you guys can jump to the things that you want to see instead of having to like scrub for it and find it. But I think the plane is good. I think we're all set for takeoff. As far as our check goes, we're gonna have to do our before takeoff checks, but everything looks fine so far. Coming up on that intersection shortly, we're gonna cross runway 22. Definitely a good morning to be flying. I don't know how much of New York we're gonna actually see because of the fog and the haze and everything, but hopefully we get to see a little glimpse of it, a little bit. All right, so here we're gonna cross over runway 22. So there we are crossing it. And we're going to continue straight ahead here. And follow this over to the right and line up on the runway. Well, just before the runway. We're going to stop at our hold short line here, just to make sure we have everything set right. There we are. Here's our hold short line. All right. So we're gonna hold it right there for a minute. If you look out our left window, you can see the water is literally right there. That's pretty cool. All right, our before takeoff checklist. Our auto throttle is armed. Our engine start switches can be set to continuous. Our master caution system, we could do a recall on, which is good. Our landing lights can come on. Our strobe lights are on. So we got to turn our landing lights on. And our strobe lights are already on. So that's all set. So we are ready to line up on the runway. So there we go. Just get my controls here. All right, we'll release the brake. Give it a little bit of throttle. I don't think I ever actually set the brake. Come on. There we go. Just need a little bit more. All right, we're gonna turn this all the way. Put the engines back to idle. All right, there we are, lined up on the runway. There's a wing view real quick. And we are ready for takeoff. So our before takeoff checks are already done. We will go to Toga, which is this little hidden button right here. We'll click right there. Everything's gonna fire up and start going. We'll keep her centered on the line the best we can. And we will listen for our call outs. Kicking in some left rudder here. 80 knots. V1. V1.
Rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. We'll nose down a little bit to get to our flap speed. All right, and our flaps can come up to 1. And our flaps can come fully up. We're gonna start a left-hand turn here. We'll go ahead and go LNAV and VNAV, and we will click on the autopilot. And there we are, starting our left-hand turn. We'll jump in a wing view here. Not too much to see at this time because of the fog, but you can see a little bit down there. Let me jump back in the cockpit here for a second. We're gonna flip this down to off. There we are. And we could jump back in a wing view for a few minutes here. Very nice departure. You can see the fog, how dense it is today. Definitely some fog going on. Looks like we're already about to break the cloud layer, which is pretty cool. We're gonna be making pretty much a 180-degree turn to get lined up. And you see some rainbows right there. That's pretty cool. Just gonna keep on turning here. We're almost fully through our turn. And then we'll jump back in the cockpit for a minute. Nice departure. Very nice departure. Yeah, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to see any of downtown New York or anything, but that's all right. We'll do that on another flight. We'll fly out of JFK or something, or fly into. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Very nice. We'll jump back in the cockpit here and make sure everything's going the way it's supposed to. We're heading up to our 10,000 mark. Looks like everything is going perfectly fine. Let's take a look at what our top of descent is going to be. It looks like just after Keeley, and then whatever's after Keeley. So let's take a look and see what's after Keeley. We'll go legs, Buffy, Keeley, Woozy. Looks like Woozy is going to be about where we start our descent. So we'll pull this back to about, we'll say 40. Put this back here. We're coming up on 10,000. So at that, we can do our climb checklist, which is landing lights can come off. Landing lights off. Taxi lights can come off. Runway turn off lights can come off. Our auto brakes can be set to off. Flaps are up. Autopilot is set. Landing lights can come off. Engine light switches can be set to off instead of continuous. And seatbelt signs as required. So our seatbelt signs are going to stay on for now. And that's pretty much going to be our climb out. So it's holding our altitude constraints as it's supposed to. And at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to continue our climb up to 38,000, and I'm going to probably start a time lapse here or shortly after, and I will jump back on and catch up with you guys when we are closer to our top of descent. Enjoy the flight. welcome back. We have started our descent. We are crossing over 20,000 now, which we're gonna have to put in our altimeter settings here in a minute, which is 2978. Descent seems to be going pretty well so far. We did have a little bit of turbulence coming in here. I don't know if you'll see it on the time lapse or not, but we had got thrown around just a little bit. I want to take a look down here and see our altitude does go down to 3,000, so we're going to put this all the way down to 3,000. All right, there we are. So we, like I said, we did begin our descent. We're down at 20,000 now, about to cross over 20,000. And everything looks pretty good. It looks like we're gonna be flying into some clouds, some weather for sure. So that should be interesting. About to fly through a cloud layer here. We'll have to do our descent checklist pretty soon. Once we cross over 18,000, we'll probably start getting that set up. What did I say our altimeter was? 2978. We'll fly through this cloud here. So we can go ahead and get our altimeter set now to 2978. There we are. Altimeter is set. Our descent checklists are pretty simple. Our landing lights will need to be on. Our seatbelt signs will need to be on. Air conditioning pressures need to be checked. Engine and anti-ice, we don't need it. Transition altitude we just did. ATIS obtained. Engine start switches will go to continuous. And our FMC will be set for approach, which, speaking of that, I think I need to go into here. And we're going to do 30-degree flaps. We'll put that in here, +5. And I think that's all we have to do for our approach. Yeah. So 137 will be our approach speed that we're looking for. 30 degrees of flaps. Flying through this cloud now, it's going to start getting a little bit darker down here. Clouds look great, man. The whole flight, the clouds looks pretty awesome. You can see the ground peeking through down there just a little bit. I don't think there's any precipitation. Although if I look at the MEDAR, it will tell me, which I don't think there was. It said wind was 170 at 5 knots, 15 miles of visibility, broken at 3,200, broken at 10,000, scattered. Yeah, I don't see anything on there about rain as of yet. But we are following our flight path pretty well, and we are following we're gonna have to pull in some flaps here and slow the plane down because we're a little bit high. We were following our descent grade pretty well. As you can see, we fell about 600 feet above it, or we are currently about 600 feet above it. So I threw some flaps in to slow us down and catch us up with our descent grade because we're a little bit higher than we should be. Not too much though, but we'll be able to catch up just fine. And as you can see, the needle is coming back up. You can see it there. You can also see it right here. So we're getting back on that descent path. There we are. So we're locked back onto that. We'll go ahead and put our speed brakes back in. Our descent checklist, we'll do landing lights can come on 1, 2, and 3, and 4. ATIS we already did. Engine start switches can be set to continuous 1 and 2. And once we start our approach, we will go into our approach checklist, which we're not quite at our approach yet. We'll just keep on descending down here. Looks like we're going to be doing a slight right turn. Man, these clouds are wicked looking. I really like them though. I always love flying through like clouds and stuff like this. It's always more exciting than just clear skies for sure. Jump back in the cockpit here. Leveling off at about 10,000 here in just a minute, which is exactly where we need to be. 11,000 actually. So we'll see if it holds us at 11,000. It should bring our speeds down pretty soon too. Let's go back to our legs page. Yeah, it should be slowing our speeds down. There it goes. Our speeds are starting to slow down, and we're leveling off right here at 10,000 where we need to be. Then we're heading down to 8. We're going to fly up here, make a U-turn, and head right towards the runway. That is pretty much where we're at so far. We'll go ahead and zoom this in a little bit more. Speeds are starting to come down to 250, then they're going to come down to 210. Clouds are looking crazy. Really, really interesting cloud formations here. I thought there was going to be more to see. There we are, breaking out a little bit there. Make sure we're following our descent profile, which we are. We look pretty good there. Man, those clouds up there look wicked, don't they? Wow. Just continue our descent down. We're crossing 10,000 now, which we already have our landing lights and everything on. We can do our approach checks if we want to. We could do landing lights are turned on. Our auto brakes we're going to set to 2. Our decision height is already set. Our master caution will recall. Good. Missed approach altitude set. Speed brake, armed, flaps, taxi gear, or landing gear, and taxi light switches. We're not going to do any of that just yet. We'll wait till we get a little bit closer for that stuff. But about to go through another cloud here. Just on our way down. Our speeds have definitely slowed down. We're going to have to bring it down to 137 once we're on final. I don't know. What are our speeds programmed to go down to? Let's see. 210, 210, 210. 172, 137. So I think at some point that clicks over and I manage my speed myself, but for now we're just going to keep flying in the autopilot and let that manage it. See some ground breaking through down there. Actually, I believe the runway lights were just in front of us there. But we're going to be making a right turn here in a moment. Yep, there's the runway lights in front of us. So that's actually that's the airport right there that we're going to be landing at. But we're going to make a hard right turn here in just a minute. Looks like we have an 11 knot slight tailwind or crosswind, more like a tail crosswind. And is this set to vectors? I don't remember. No, so it looks like it will fly out and yeah, make the turn on its own. Okay, there's our right hand turn. We'll zoom this back in some. Turn some of our button lights up a little bit there. All right, we're down to 7,000. So I think this is our downwind. Then we'll turn base, then we'll turn final. I believe that's the way it goes, the proper order. Man, these clouds are crazy looking. So we'll fly through here a little bit through this cloud layer. We'll continue our descent down. Our speeds are now down to 210, which is good. We need to get down to about 190 before we can put our first notch flaps out. Just flying along here in the clouds. Maybe we'll break below them at some point. Well, obviously we will, but hopefully sooner than later. Got a little bit of ways to go right here on this course. We're just going to keep flying forward until we make our left-hand turn up there. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of exciting stuff to see. We're in the thick of the clouds. Flying at 210 knots. We're at about 6,200 feet right now. We're climbing down to 3,000, and that's going to be our intercept altitude for the glide slope and ILS. About 10 knot tailwind. Just letting the plane auto manage itself at the moment, keeping us on track here. It's probably going to look pretty cool once we break out of these clouds below them. Can't see the ground or anything at all at this point. Not even a hint of the ground. That's pretty cool. Plane's still managing our speed. We're still at 210 knots. We're just breaking below 5,500, headed down to 3,000. I'm starting to get a little bit of ground breaking out here. I don't know if we'll be able to see up. There we go. See it out the wing there. So we're at 5,000 feet now, heading down to 3,000. All right, breaking out of the clouds here. Here comes our left-hand turn. All right, we got to start doing some stuff here. So we will go into speed mode. Can we do that yet? No, not yet. Keep going on this left. We should get our, yep, so we have our VOR, our localizer popping up. And I believe we should get our glide slope relatively soon as well. Finally broken below these clouds completely, just about. A couple stray clouds a little bit lower, but for the most part. And there is our turn. Alright, we'll fly this a little bit and then we'll make a little bit of a right turn and get lined up with that next waypoint. And there we are. There's our right turn. are leveling out at 3,000 here in just a minute. We're at 3,800. It looks like our localizers are starting to come in. We have our upper diamond and our lower diamonds. We'll go a notch of flaps here, which will bring our speeds down. Go another notch of flaps. Should continue bringing our speeds down. In a minute, we're going to drop our landing gear. Speeds are coming down. We can go ahead and get our runway turn off lights on, our taxi lights on. Our speed brake is armed, and all we need to do is flaps and drop gear and hit our localizer and approach. Once we're locked onto the localizer and the approach, I'll drop the gear here. We'll go VOR lock. Let's see if we can grab that. Which you can see the diamond about to cross now. As soon as it does, we will lock onto it. And there's our lock. We're on it. And with that, we will go ahead and toggle on our approach as well. Get locked onto our approach. We're going to drop our gear here. And now we will be manually controlling our speed. We're going to drop it down to 150. And we're going to get some more flaps in here. We are locked onto the glide slope at this point.
2,500.
We're going to keep bringing our flaps down. We're going to bring our speeds down to 137, which is our target speed for landing. Our landing gear is down. Our flaps are just about set. We have one more notch to go. Just let our speeds come down a little bit more. We are locked onto the glide slope. We have a 10 knot crosswind, which isn't too bad. And we'll go our last notch of flaps here, which should bring our speeds down right where we need it. There we are, 137. Jump into a wing view, take a look outside. Wow, this weather looks crazy. I believe off the wing there is possibly downtown Toronto. I'm not too familiar with Toronto, so I'm not sure, but I believe off the wing there would be downtown Toronto. Everything's looking really good so far, knock on wood. Golf course just below us there. All right, jump back in the cockpit here. Let the plane continue managing us for a few minutes here, or another minute or so, and then we'll cut off the autopilot and see if we can't hand fly this down. The winds are pretty calm. I forget what my hotkey to turn off the autopilot is. I think it's I think it's this button over here, so we'll bring it in just a little bit more. All right, there we are. We cut off the autopilot. We are now hand flying it. There we are, looking good so far.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
And we are down. We'll go reverse thrust. We'll try and hold that center line. And there we are, not so bad. All right, we can cut our reverse thrust off. And we will taxi off of this line here. We floated it just a little bit there, but we brought it down pretty good. Not too bad. We'll get off of this taxiway here, and then we'll hold short and we'll do our after landing checks and get ready for taxi to the terminals. Welcome to Toronto. All right. Here we are. We're going to hold short right here. There we are, and we'll put on our brake. All right, our after landing checklist. Our landing lights can come off. We'll turn them off. Landing lights are off. Our strobe lights off. Our taxi lights on. We have those on. Our flaps up. Put our flaps up. Our speed brake lever can be unarmed. Our transponder set to standby, which is over here. Set that to standby. Our engine start switches can go to off, so we'll go up here. We don't need these on continuous anymore. Our anti-ice, we're good. Stabilizer trim is set. APU, we can get that started, so we'll go ahead and click that on and click start, and we will set the APU bleed on. All right, and we are ready for taxi to the terminals. So it's a little confusing here, but we're going to taxi across here, and we're going to try and jump on Charlie. So we'll cross runway. What is this runway? 6 right at Delta 4, and we'll try and make a right-hand turn from Delta to Charlie. We'll take Charlie all the way down to Delta, Quebec, and make a left onto the terminals there. That's my plan. Now, we'll see how well this goes, because I'm not the best at following taxi instructions. But we'll release our brake here. Go ahead and recenter our camera. Give it a little bit of thrust. And we are going to cross the runway right here. Go back into a wing view for a minute. Let you guys see outside. Looks pretty good. Weather was very interesting flying in here. Not quite what it seemed to be based on the MEDAR. So hopefully the weather system is working. We'll turn this master caution off there. All right, we'll give it a little more throttle here just to get us going. And we're going to cross this runway here. All right. Crossing and make a right turn onto Charlie, which is not going to be right here, but it's going to be the next one, I believe. Hopefully I'll end up on a runway. Nah, I won't. We're good. I've done it before, though. All right, so we're going to start our turn here and follow this guy down. There we are. And we'll follow this down to DQ, which I guess is Delta Quebec, or Delta Papa, actually. We could probably Delta to Delta Papa and then to the terminals. Hope you guys enjoyed that flight. If you did, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment if there's somewhere you want me to fly. and I'll see if I can make that happen. We're going to cross over the top of runway 33 right. We're not going to quite be on it, but it's just to our left here, which you can kind of see right here. So we're going to keep on going straight here. There's the top of that runway. Or I guess not yet. It's over a little bit more. Frame rate is a little bit laggy here. Not too bad, but I don't know if the recording will show any choppiness at all. If it does, I apologize, but it's holding pretty well. It's not too bad. Give a little more throttle so we can get moving. All right, so we're going to be making this left and then an immediate right. Not this left, sorry, the following left. I believe right here is where we want to go left. And then right onto Delta. I guess I could just go straight here too and jump on Alpha AM, whatever AM is, Alpha Mike. And the terminals will be right there. We'll taxi down till we find a terminal we want. I'll change these wing views real quick. Get us into a right wing. And let's slow down a little bit. This is going to be our right here. There we are. And we'll follow this off to the left a little bit here, and then we will pick a gate and pull right up to it. I guess what I should start doing is on my flight start choosing gates before I get to the airport. That way I kind of know where I'm going, but I just kind of fly here and then pick one I see. That's kind of how it's been going. So we could probably pull into one of these gates here. Yeah, we could pull right up into there, which is what we'll do. So we'll just pull straight ahead here, and we'll park at one of these main terminals, which you can actually see people inside the terminal, which is pretty cool. So we'll keep pulling up here just a little bit more. There we are, and we will slow down, and right there, we'll put our brake on. There we go. All right, our parking checklists. Pretty simple. Let's say our parking brake is set. Our seatbelt signs, we can come up here. Our seatbelt signs can come off. Our smoking can stay on auto or come off, doesn't matter. APU generator switches will go on. We'll go on APU. We are now on the APU. Fuel cutoff switches. We'll go ahead and cut off our engines, 1 and 2. We'll come back up here. Yep, I know this is off. We'll toggle that off. We'll come back up top here. APU bleed switch. Well, we still have our APU on, so our ground power is what we need to get established. So we'll come down here. We'll go menu and FS actions, ground service. We'll set the chocks and we'll request the ground power unit. That will get connected, and then as soon as it says up top that ground power is available, we'll go on the ground power and continue our parking checks, which that doesn't take too long. It should be done here in just a second. There it is. We'll go up here and we will go onto the ground power. We are now off of our APU, so our bleed switch can be turned off and our APU can be turned off. Our taxi turning lights, runway turn-off lights and taxi lights can come off. Our pack switches left and right can stay. They're set to auto. Our engine ice we didn't use. Probe heat 1 and 2 can come off. Window heat switches can come off as well. Emergency lights, we'll keep them on for now. I didn't mean to move that. Toggle that off. Fuel pumps come off. Yaw damper can come off. IRSs, we're not gonna turn them off. Anti-collision and position lights can come off. We'll leave position light on. Wing lights off. We'll turn wheel well lights on. And our battery switch, we would switch off if we were finished here, which we are, but for the sake of, I don't know if I can get that jetway over here, but it's very confusing on how to do that. If I go over here and I go to, is it ground? No. I guess it is ground services. I go next page, packs entry. I want jetway. But I don't think that requests the jetway, so I'm not sure how to get the jetway here. Let's see. See, I can't request it. I'm not sure how to do that. But if you guys, oh, there it goes. It's, oh no, that's the staircase. Whoops. All right, so the staircase is coming. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed that flight, be sure to let me know. That's a weird view. Be sure to let me know in the comments if there's anywhere you want me to fly. Let me know. I would be happy to do so. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys on the next flight.